What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This one's going to be a bit more personal. Normally, I get behind the webcam and I encourage men out there to go and get a girlfriend. I just try to help them see how much benefit it has with helping them improve. But today, we're going to be talking about my relationship. I actually broke up with my girlfriend, and I, I'm I'm kind of upset. I want it to be known that I have more gratitude than I ever could have imagined. Like, if there's nothing else that you take away from however long this video is going to be, I am so grateful to have had um, and that became pretty evident to me about an hour or two after I decided to cut. But long story short, I'm not going to use her real name, so we'll call her Lacey. And me and Lacey, I guess we had a pretty big problem in my eyes a couple weeks ago. And ever since that big incident, it felt as if the dynamic between us had changed. I started to see some behaviors. I started to encounter some issues that just made me feel like the relationship was headed in a direction that wasn't going to be beneficial for me. It wasn't something that I was enjoying anymore. And unfortunately, I just didn't have the skills to, I guess, repair the relationship, or at least start to take lead in a way that allowed her to repair the relationship. But I guess that's the long story short. Um, again, there's just nothing but gratitude, grateful. I don't feel any resent. I don't feel any hatred. I don't feel the need to vilify her or to swear off from all women. None of that. I just feel, I guess it would be best to say I'm in withdrawal. It's been almost 24 hours and I just miss her. I miss her a lot. But I also know that it's the right decision to go ahead and end things. I guess what's so uncomfortable for me is the idea that I may have hurt her. I was pretty decisive. I didn't leave the door open for discussion. I sent her a message and I said, "Hey, this is where I'm at. This is how I feel. I'm going to go ahead and block your number. But I just wanted to let you know why." And I don't know, just this image in my mind keeps popping up of her reading that and just her face getting all twisted up, her cheeks getting all flushed, maybe even getting teary eyed, crying. And that brings me so much pain. It's so hard to describe it. I feel the need to like hug her and comfort, and I can't do that. Um, and so I really hope that it wasn't too difficult on her. I know it's going to be a rough week or two as I transition out of this relationship. And truth be told, I want to reestablish some sort of connection with her when the time is appropriate. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I cut off things with my relationship, single again, and I'm not too excited about that. I have options, plenty of options. I hopped back on Hinge, and I already have a few girls texting me, and I just have no desire to text them back. It's so strange. um, but I know it's not the end of the world. I know that this feeling is going to pass, and that in a year or two this will be like comedic almost. But for right now, I guess I'm just feeling all of the feels. You know? I I do want to say, just on the note of why I'm so grateful. This was probably the first relationship that I had. I felt safe being me. I felt secure, you know? And it really opened my eyes to a lot. Um, there's a lot of possibilities that are out there, a lot of ideas that I've had that aren't helpful, that maybe didn't need to be there. If I were to just compare myself from where I was to where I am now, it's like a night and day difference. And I almost feel like I'm in debt to her. Um, I stopped smoking weed. I used to smoke weed all day, every day. Started working a lot more. Some of you may know this, but I have a I get benefits from the VA. I'm a vet. Make about 4,100 every month, and so since being outside the military, I haven't had to work, and I haven't. I guess I didn't have the roughest transition. Like there's some real horror stories, but not having something that keeps you grounded, like 8 hour shift, hour shift. Um, it kind of left me not having a purpose in some sense. And, being with her, being around her family, seeing the kind of standard that they have, it raised the bar for me. Ended up doing a lot more work. I mean, I've been recording these YouTube videos and posting them, and I have a school community with about 30 people in there, and just like that achievement is fucking insane to me. Like I've proven that I can do some semblance of internet marketing. That's just something I didn't think that I had in me. I just always kind of felt like defective, to never be an entrepreneur. Um, and she helped me see through that. I don't think she's aware that she's did that, but she did. Um, back in school now, using my GI Bill, so getting an extra 2,400 every month, right around 70 grand a year, and I'm getting college credits. Whereas before, I didn't care. I didn't have any reason to go back to school. I There's a few other things. I almost see it as like a mentorship. I had a Not as if she was in that position, like she was in like a like teaching kind of leadership role in life, but having her in my life was almost as if I had a mentor, and this person introduced me to a lot of new behaviors and helped train me out of other bad behaviors, all without her attempting to even do this. Like that wasn't her intent. Like gave me the reason to start giving more of a fuck. And it's at the point where that mentor can't teach me anything else, or rather just we aren't necessarily seeing eye to eye anymore. And rather than leave that relationship and start self-destructing, getting high or drinking a lot of alcohol, it's almost as if, well, now i I should take the best parts of that interaction, about 6 months long, 6 month long relationship. I should take all the good things that happened. I It almost feels like my duty to cherish them, to keep them as things that I see as precious, and stand true to them. You know? Yeah, great. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I feel nothing but gratitude, and I guess a slight longing. I do miss her. Miss her a lot. But I know that this is for the best. I know that where I want to go, I just don't think that. And there's always going to be some responsibility that falls on my end. I could have communicated better, or I could have, you know, done X, Y, or Z to get her more enthusiastic about what I was trying to do. But at the end of the day, that's just not what happened. Kind of already closed the door. I sealed my fate in what the relationship is. And, I guess I'm looking to start a life. I'm looking to build a life with somebody. And in a lot of ways, I don't think that she's quite there yet. She's a little bit younger than me, just turned 22. And I know when I was 22, you know, the idea of starting a family or the idea of like getting serious with my career, all of those things weren't very appealing. But that's where I'm at. And I don't think I'm ready to like start a family. I want to make, but I've been considering it lot, a lot more than I ever have. And it seems like one of the next logical steps in my path. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but it definitely is something that I want. But yeah, um, big takeaway: relationships are good for you. If you are the kind of person who feels like they're lacking purpose, you feel like if you were to die, that nobody would be impacted, a relationship is good for you. Alex Ramosi, he's a YouTuber and entrepreneur. He introduced me to this idea, not directly consuming his content. Um, but the idea is that you have to find a reason bigger than yourself. Like if you have all these goals and you want to achieve them, but the motivation is purely like for self fulfillment, it's going to be difficult to like muster up the motivation or the discipline to work on those goals. It's it's a lot more beneficial to make the goal to protect, to be able to protect, to be able to provide for your loved one, to have a tribe, you know? There's this study that says you put these people into like a room, give them a, they can tap out whenever, right? Their capacity for receiving these shocks that are painful triples when they find out or when they're told that for every shock that they take, one of their family members won't have to. Like your threshold for work, your capacity for discipline, motivation, according to this study, this is just looking at pain in this very specific circumstance, but we can say safely that it triples or even more when you start to do the things for others. So, again, if you feel like you don't have that purpose or you don't know what you're doing or why you should be doing it, even though you know what to do, get a relationship. Look towards your family. Find somebody who you can provide, not necessarily income, but an example. Provide an example to the younger people and provide, structure and support to your intimate partner. be able to give them a house so that they don't have to work. They can pursue whatever goals that they want. That's where I'm at right now. If I were to, I guess not if, but when I stumble into another relationship, I'm going to be at the point where I can just tell her, hey, you can stay here. You don't have to work. You can, start going to school. You can start working on a business, whatever it may be. Maybe you want to be a stay at home mom and we can start thinking about having kids. But I'm going to be at that point where I'm able to provide that level. And you just, when you're just trying to fulfill your own needs, that bar is a lot lower. You know, it's acceptable to get high every day, and it's acceptable to just do the bare minimum when you don't have anybody else to work for. But yeah, this is a long video. I'm going to wrap it up. That is what's going on with me. Um, no ill feelings towards her, no resentment, no need to villainize. Just gratitude. So grateful at her in my words. Words literally cannot describe how grateful. I'm so glad to have had her and to have let her influence me into the trajectory. Um, and I'm very upset that it's time to end. That's all that I have. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.